Early on the first day of the week, while it was still dark, Mary Magdalene went to the tomb and saw that the stone had been removed from the entrance. So she came running to Simon Peter and the other disciple, the one Jesus loved, and said, "They have taken the Lord out of the tomb, and we don't know where they've put him." Dawn breaks. Did you know that there are 4 different kinds of dawn? There's astronomical dawn, when the centre of the sun's disk is 18 degrees below the horizon, just enough light to upset observing some stars. Then there's nautical dawn, where the sun's disk is 12 degrees below. The horizon just becomes visible if you're at sea, enough for you to navigate by. Then there's civil dawn, where the sun is 6 degrees below the horizon, light enough to be active. And then sunrise, where the edge of the sun peaks above the horizon and full daylight appears. Now, John is a very talented storyteller. He takes us on a journey this first resurrection day. We begin in darkness, literal, physical darkness. Maybe it's 5 or 6 in the morning, and Mary comes to the tomb. What is it that she sees when she arrives there? The stone moved away, the body absent, the grave clothes. She's full of questions. So she runs back to Peter and the other disciple, John. They have taken the body, whoever they might be, and we don't know where they have put him. She wants to honour her dead Lord, and she can't. She wants to do a good thing, and she's prevented. And that running back to where the disciples are and then returning, it's about half a mile, so maybe it's 20 minutes later when she returns to the tomb. It's getting light, but it's still dim, not full daytime. And in that twilight, in that gloom, that's when the second encounter occurs. There are, we read, 2 angels in the tomb. Then there's the gardener, or so she thinks, outside. The 4 of them talk together, and she's not noticed anyone there before. "Why are you crying?" the angels ask her. Jesus, the gardener, asks the same. "Why are you crying?" and adds, "Who are you looking for?" And what we do is we move from Jesus is dead and I can no longer find him to this question: who are you looking for? Let me tell you something you already know. Christopher Wren, the leading architect of London's reconstruction after the Great Fire of 1666, lies buried beneath the floor of his most famous building, St. Paul's. There is no elaborate tomb within the site. Instead, we find the famous epitaph written by his son and now inscribed into the floor. If you're searching for his monument, look around. Now, that's a popular fact that all the guides to London know really well. And if a tourist came up to them and said, I'm looking for Christopher Wren, that's the story that they would be told. And it's what Mary was doing. The answer to Jesus' question, really, who are you looking for? Her answer would have been, I'm looking for the body of Jesus, for my dead Lord. And sometimes we have been guilty of the same thing, simply not expecting Jesus to be around. We gather Sunday by Sunday to honour his memory, to celebrate his ministry, and to study his teaching in just the same way that a Sikh would do for Guru Nanak, or that a Muslim would do for their prophet Muhammad. And both would believe that their teachings have lasting worth. But if that's what we're gathering to do, then like Mary that Easter morning, we're living in the twilight. Mary can even look at Jesus and not see him, talk to him and not recognize him. Her grief has left her partially blind and partially deaf to his presence. Easter has a different message. Easter shouts out, he is alive to be with us, to talk to us, to lead us, to guide us. I do not want to live in the twilight, blind and deaf to the presence of Jesus. I need to live in the full light of dawn. He is no longer dead. He is alive and present. 1 John 1. This is the message we have heard from him and declare to you. God is light. In him there is no darkness at all. And if we claim to have fellowship with him and yet walk in the darkness, we lie and do not live out the truth. Or John again in Revelation 21. The New Jerusalem doesn't need the sun or the moon to shine on it, for the glory of God gives it light, and the Lamb is its lamp. The nations will walk by its light, and the kings of earth will bring their splendour into it. On no day will its gates ever be shut, for there'll be no night there. There is no longer any need to walk in darkness. Mary need no longer live in the twilight. Not because day and night are going to stop happening, but because Jesus, who is God's light, will always be with her and with us. That's how Easter has changed the world for us. Day and night still happen. There are times still of darkness, and times like these last 12 months where we can see only a glimmer of the dawn. But that is overwhelmed by the presence of the true and living light, the presence of Jesus, who says, I am with you always. Walk in the light as he is in the light. Walk with the living Jesus. We come not to memorialize Jesus, not simply to recall his ministry or rehearse his teachings, but to be in his living presence. Christ is alive. He is risen, and he is with us. Hallelujah.